Which was this, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Yes, and you have the wrong.
You can smell the cinnamon coming off of this cookie. This is going to be good. Since I feel like we might have missed it, this was the birthday cake cookie, and with that cross section again of that kind of almost blondie brownie like texture. That's what that's supposed to taste like. It's also worth noting that every one of these cookies has cut super cleanly.
Yeah.
Whether it's something you got shipped to you, something you bought at the grocery store or a bakery, how often does that happen? You don't end up with a pile of crumbs and 3/4 of a cookie. This is 4 solid quarters every single time, and that's, yeah, for sure. Warming that one was definitely the good decision.
Yeah, because you can smell it better. When I was drinking the beer, I was thinking, okay, the beers are stepping up. Mm-hmm. Now that we finally got off the sours, the unintended sours, and now we're into the darks. I thought, okay, well, the cookies better step up too, otherwise this is going to overpower it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But that is working.
And the cinnamon really comes out on top.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Otherwise, this would have just gotten buried. Like
right.
This cookie would have gotten buried.
Right. Yeah, no, that's, I mean, it's a very strong cinnamon flavor, but it's very much like a cinnamon streusel kind of cinnamon.
Yeah.
Certainly not cinnamon like big red cinnamon, but I would never expect that. But it's also not cinnamon like direct from a powdery shaker. Mm-hmm. It's not cinnamon like the same kind of cinnamon you would have like an apple cider if you threw some sticks in. Like It's very much that sugary baked cinnamon streusel-y kind of. Does that job well without feeling like it's got too much sugar either.
Yeah. Well, also I believe the salt is really. Mm-hmm. Now, luckily we're hydrating here, right? So the salt is really part of it. It's part of the equation. It's not just this big rocky salt that really. Doesn't just make you thirsty, but it really lays on there.
Yeah, it provides the contrast that it's supposed to the sweetness. I mean, that is something that mass-produced cookies usually lack is enough salt to be the contrast it's supposed to be. I mean, so when I bring out salted caramel macadamia is not the time you should leave the room.
Oh, no. Oh, this one. Is this...
That's the salted caramel macadamia. I figured that would be a good one to go with this.
Because we're drinking cookies and eating beers right now.
Nice. Well done. So this one you can actually see some of that Maldon salt. I mean, not just that, it's got some salt still on top, but you can tell that's a Maldon crystal. They don't make them that big in pretty much any other kind of salt in the world.
I collect salts too.
I mean, sodium and chloride are always going to be sodium and...
I think I showed you my salt collection.
We tasted your salt collection with some tequila.
Yeah. Oh, that was the tequila salt. That's totally different.
Oh, that was a whole different salt collection.
Salt plus. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, that one again really, really reminds me of a blondie. But damn if it isn't very tasty.
I think the sugar's catching up a little on this one.
Yeah, but...
I'm trying to calibrate too. I don't want to lose my palate.
Well, it's inevitable at a certain point. You can get pretty far without it if you try, but you'll get there eventually no matter what.
Now, we are doing this one cool.
Right, yeah, we didn't bother to warm this one up. And I think having that little bit of crunch definitely, I think, added something to have that extra texture.
Yeah.
Everything But the Candles was the name of the birthday cake. The Netflix and Crunch was the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. S'mores Sans Campfire. The James Dean was the Oreo Milkshake one. The Madonna is peanut butter. What the Velvet is the red velvet. The Floor is Lava is a lava cake cookie. Let's see, let's drain this one to have one more Baltic Porter cookie. And then we can get into that Blackout Stout, because that, along with the lambic at the beginning, is the highlight of the day. Save the best beer for last if you're going to have a lot on your palate. But I think it's a strong enough beer that it's going to cut through any palate fatigue you might be having.
I think I brought a tongue scraper too for our tastings at the office.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever tried to fix palate fatigue with a scraper. Now, usually my trick for fixing palate fatigue is be drunk enough to not care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it works really well, in fact.
You get there eventually.
You sure do. It also depends on how long it takes you to get to palate fatigue. In my case, now we're doing cookies. It's a whole different day. But if I'm just sampling beers, I've gotten up to about 80 before I got to total palate death, where I just like, yep, that's liquid. And that was
Well, how many of those are going in and how many of those are spitting out?
Homeboy don't spit. We do it right. It's a story for another day.
These beers are great, and I was thinking about some of the reviews. I've been leaving good reviews on.
I've seen some of them, yeah, on Untappd.
Yeah.
I saw a few of them. I haven't been on in a little while.
And then,
there myself anymore.
since like I tried to just do all of them, and then as time allowed, and then just the extraordinary ones, and then now I just keep the good ones and I put them on top. I'm like, do that one later. So the way that I rate the beer, I use special ratings. You've even commented on my star policy.
Yeah, it's not the way I do it, which is also unique among.
So part of it is, do I want to drink this beer again tonight? That's the question. Some of them are offensive, but intentionally offensive.
Sure.
And if they're successfully offensive, then that can really take it down. What was the Ghostface Killer? What was that?
Yeah. Actually, I don't know if I actually ever said this to you out loud, but that beer I kind of intended for you just to cook with. That would have been great for boiling bratwurst. It would have been great in some chili if you wanted beer chili. But it was a ghost pepper beer.
Yeah.
Made by a brewery that I don't know if it exists anymore, but while it did, they didn't do anything worth talking about other than Ghostface Killer. Let's just put it that way. And that beer was only worth talking about mostly because of how bad it was. I might have forgotten to tell you about that and just let you drink it, in which case...
well, you can check the rating. You can see how it turned out. But it was...
Nevertheless, it's not a good beer. We'll do s'mores next.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Yeah. That one I think might be a good heated up one.
That'd be
guess. I mean, s'mores are, by definition, a hot food.
Oh, sure.
The ingredients start off with fat, fluffy marshmallows, toasted dark chocolate for bite, milk chocolate for love, cinnamon graham cracker crust, because that's... and a drizzle of dark chocolate to add the perfect amount of bite. Now, keeping in mind that when I'm reading these ingredients, these are not the actual, legal ingredients, but it's also not the story that Will was talking about on the right side of the back of the packaging. So every cookie has its own 3, 4, maybe 5 sentence little blurb separate from the faux ingredients as well.
Now, if you were home alone and you only had one of these, remember, this is a corporate box. This could go to the whole company.
Sure.
And so you just got one of these to go home. You might actually read that. But we're not, because we've got the whole box here. Yeah. Less talk and more s'mores.
Yeah, we're definitely back to ooey gooey here.
Less gooey than I thought going into the mouth.
Yeah.
But it's still very gooey.
Right.
That's not actually, it still is a cookie.
Right. I mean, I was actually just camping just this past weekend, ate some s'mores there, and this is it takes me right back to 2 days ago, sitting next to a campfire, for sure. I think going to 6 pieces instead of 4 was a good move, and I went back to 4 for this one. And, it's delicious enough to not regret it, but it is sticking around. That's a good match, though. The s'mores beer and the roasty Baltic Porter kind of takes that bite that they're going for with the dark chocolate and takes it up a couple levels. I didn't really get a lot of dark chocolate bitterness in the cookie. I got very little of that. It's chocolatey. Yeah. I got a good amount of chocolate, but I didn't really get bitter chocolate, which is what the packaging is making me assume I'm about to get. Not super bitter. It's not an IPA bitter, but the bitterness from the roasty beer delivers what the cookie was promising. So they mentioned the word bite twice.
Yeah.
If you're going to mention something twice, it better deliver on time.
So you're going to call the FDA and call them out on the bite.
Yeah. No, I'm just going to be really glad that I have this beer next to it. Blackout Stout and Lava Cake. You want to go hard at the beginning of this beer? You want to do peanut butter next while we're thinking about beer and not drinking any beer? Anyway.
Wow, that looks like a scone right there.
Kind of does, or like a real big biscuit. Hold that up to the camera. This is the peanut butter cookie, just to show you how thick that is. Like I said, it kind of looks like a country biscuit or like a scone.
You tell me, how do you want to eat that? You want to eat it like
just like this?
Like a scone?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to cut this one a little smaller.
Oh. So what's the verbiage on this one?
There you go. Peanut butter, always natural. Peanut butter cups and chips, peanut butter swirl, milk chocolate, mild on sea salt, sprinkled to taste. Then, as they all have, is it contains wheat, milk, soy, egg type of thing.
This is the type of stuff that I look for.
One person did the ingredients verbiage, and somebody else did the packaging layout as a whole and just brought it in without. Nevertheless, again, one of the better cookies overall. I mean, the peanut butter flavor is stellar. You know, still got some chocolate in there, so it's not just a peanut butter cookie.
I mean, it's like getting close to like a protein bar.
Well, that sounds derogatory.
Yeah, but like in terms of
I know what you mean.
Yeah, like it's a lot of peanut butter. It's like this could almost be. I mean, this has a good amount of protein in it. I'm guessing.
I mean, let's check the ingredients.
No idea. I am detecting a limited amount of kinds of salt on these cookies.
What, that it's always melt on? Well, I mean, going back to the the entire premise of the company is that it's ultra premium, and Maldon is one of the more expensive store-bought, non-collectible salts that you can find. So it doesn't surprise me that they would kind of lean into that. So that's the color of the red velvet. I know it's not going to come through as you brought that beer out already, right? You don't have to get up again. Yeah. This one says it has apple cider vinegar for the twang, buttermilk powder for more twang, light cocoa base for a sweet tang, and homemade extra velvety cream cheese frosting to make your taste buds feel like they're on an emotional roller coaster. So I'll start by admitting that I've never been a fan of red velvet, but I've yet to ever have something that was called red velvet that was like, oh, that's why people go nuts about red. I have yet to experience that, and truth be told, this is not an exception to that. I'm just sitting here thinking about the overall experience of all the different ones we've had now that we're down to just two that we haven't tasted. So I'm starting to think about, what are my tops? What are the next beer we're doing is called Blackout Stout from Great Lakes Brewing. This is an annually released beer that they've been making for a real long time. It is one of the best plain old imperial stouts on the market. You really don't get Russian imperial stouts that don't have a barrel treatment, don't have any adjuncts or added flavors. It's just a damn good beer. And this is one of the best of that particular category. This is a bottle from 2017, so it's a little under 7 years old. So this is one of the more recent beers, actually. Now, this one is a 9% Imperial Stout, which, as Russian Imperial style beers go, is actually on the low end. To show off the label.
This one has a lot less on the nose.
Part of that is just because it's not a barrel-aged beer. Like that one is barrel-aged. This one has those adjuncts, and of course, and this one's barrel-aged as well, and also has adjuncts. So of the other 3 different dark beers we had, it's the only one that has none of those. So no pouring of lava as you might think you'd get in like a lava cake.
Yeah,
more of a drizzle, which is certainly more than you'd get from any of these other cookies, but it doesn't flow onto the plate like a lava cake at a restaurant might.
Now, just for more information for the viewers, this was shipped overnight, and this was received yesterday. And, so if you're going to order this you're not going to get any faster than this. Peak. And cookies do not age.
Right. Yeah, right. You're showing up, putting these away in a cellar, even without overnight shipping. I mean, these are so super fresh that even if they shipped them, 5-day ground, they'd still be perfectly fine when you got them. This lava is so gooey.
Yeah, the powder just sits on the top of your palate and just waits for you to... Oh, you thought you're done? Nope.
Yeah, from a texture standpoint, this is like putting an enormous glob of peanut butter right in your mouth and just let it chill out until it eventually dissolves it on its own. It's not going anywhere. You can't do anything about it. Just enjoy the ride.
So you've seen me in college. Mm-hmm. Last year, I set a new record for drinking in 1 month.
Nice.
In my 30s.
Nice.
Not in my 20s, not in college, in my damn 30s. Like,
and at the end of them, mind you.
And not in the bars, just family events, client events, friend events. Who does that? That's just how Asia does. If you're at a bar that has beers that you wouldn't drink, and Guinness was, I know you could drink a Guinness, but like if that was at the limit of what they had, she's going for that every time in these type of bars. Like there's no other beer that's on that level, and anything else is a disaster. It's like why am I drinking this?
I absolutely have had a water when I was out with friends drinking because they took me to a bar that only had 3 lights and 2 domestics and
Los Angeles has been more like that. Few bars in Los Angeles that have one distributor for beers. Versus on the East Coast, it's very hard to find a hole in the wall that doesn't have
right.
something.
It also does depend on where you are on the West Coast. That's an LA thing, not a California thing, not a West Coast thing. Because San Diego, San Francisco, certainly Portland, Oregon, Seattle, all of those are West Coast towns that have an amazing beer culture. We're down to our last one.
Oh, this is
the James Dean Oreo milkshake cookie. I don't know that we intentionally saved it for last. So it's the Oreo milkshake cookie. I'll actually just do the ingredients list because it's a little bit shorter. Milk, malted malt balls, which, by the way, is milk, malted malt balls. That's 3 separate things. It's not malted milk balls, which is what I would expect. Yeah. It's milk, malted malt balls.
Yeah.
Light cocoa, chocolate, both white and semi-sweet. Oreos in fat chunks because no one likes Oreo pixie dust. So I assume that fat chunks just means butter.
Yep.
So.
Oh wow, this is
last cookie. This is probably the most interesting interior of a cookie. There's a lot going on in there. I mean, we just read what was in it, but I wouldn't have expected there to be this much going on. Yeah, right. It's a good flavor though. I get the malt. I get the Oreo flavor. What's up?
Yeah, you gotta breathe while you're eating it. There's a lot extra going on there.
It goes great with the beer.
Facts.
Yeah. Yeah, that roasty beer, the sweet malty cookie. I mean, just, I don't know if having malt in 2 ways matters, but malted barley and malted milk. I don't know. Maybe there's something there, maybe there's not, but
there's something there.
Tastes really good. Yeah, that's a good finale. Yeah, like the lava cake was almost tripping over itself with how much chocolate it had to it, but also that there wasn't anything to complement it and bring out the chocolatiness. Yeah. It's just chocolate beating you over the head with more chocolate, whereas this one is much more chocolate accentuated with the malt.
Yeah, to be honest, my palate's catching up on the sugar, so I'm trying to...
For sure. I've been battling that for 3 cookies.
I'm trying to cancel out.
Right.
And just measure, like, is this overpowered with sugar? Is my tongue...
Right. Is it just how much sugar I have in my mouth in general that hasn't washed out? Or is it this cookie that's super...
This one was not over sugar, I think.
Right.
I think,
so the experience of having your mouth kind of had that to it, but you're trying to give it the benefit of the doubt that it wasn't the cookie. I'm with you on that, because that's exactly where my head's at as well.
This is a normal size box. For normal people,
right. That was 6 cookies. Now that one was all the chocolate chip one, but that was 6 in a box. This was 12 in a box. So to have gone through even just half of 12, I definitely can say that we are sugared out at this point. But even saying that last cookie still had a lot of great flavor.
Yeah.
You want to do the top 3?
Yeah. So for me, it's going to be the first one, the Better Than Sex.
Okay, Better Than Sex chocolate chip cookie. Yep.
Yeah, this one, I definitely remember this taste. Flagship, right?
Yeah.
The
and why would chocolate chip not be your flagship if you're gonna have one?
It was the first pair of tart cookies. I'm trying to figure out which one.
So first we did the muffin, the blueberry muffin.
Yeah. With
the cherry beer. Then we moved on to the lemon and then the banana with the barrel aged saison.
So the blueberry, this one was flaky and amazing.
I'll put these.
And this one really just broke categories as a cookie. So I'm going to put that as a second one. I don't know. The birthday cake is a good cookie, but
these are dotted sprinkly sprinkles, not Jimmy's.
Yeah.
And, like I said, as a Philly guy, I got to be a Jimmy's guy.
I'm going to leave it at top 2. I'm going to say those are the blueberry and the Better Than Sex.
Okay. So I'm going to say that the lemon bar is probably my number 1 overall experience as a cookie, because it was so brightly lemony.
Yeah.
And if you just gave me a list of these 12 flavors and said, you're going to taste 12 cookies this month, because I don't think I would have expected to do it in a day. If you said, hey, in the next month, I'm going to have you taste these 12 cookies, which one do you think you're going to like the best? The lemon one would have been like number 11, 10 maybe on a good day. It might be my favorite cookie in the bunch just because it is so unique that, if you compare it to other lemon confections, if you compare it to other cookies, if you compare it to lemon bars, it has the most vibrance of flavor of any lemon cookie I've ever had. of any of these. It's just, it was the standout for what it is.
Yeah.
Even though lemon cookie wouldn't be my top thing ever, it was so exceptional among that's why I'm going to give it my top mark. The blueberry muffin one was pretty similar in that regard. That was also a really top tier experience as a cookie. So if I'm going to keep it to 2 as well, I would say probably those 2, which again surprises me greatly that neither of them were a chocolate-based cookie, which I'm a chocolate guy. I would have absolutely expected that the chocolate cookies would be like numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then lemon at the bottom. And so what do you think would be your least favorite? If you had to pick one that's the last one you would want to ever have again.
The Donkey Kong was not a favorite for me. The Velvet was, I guess Velvet is bottom 5, maybe bottom 3.
To be fair, I asked for 3 top and 1 bottom.
Oh.
Because I don't like dwelling on the negative. So let's press you for a number 3.
I remember the cinnamon really just came out above the beer. It's hard to remember if it was the cookie or the beer pairing that really did that.
How about my top choice, the lemon? Was that one that high up for you, or not as much?
That's top 5. I don't.
Okay.
It might be the 3rd. I want to say the peanut butter or the lemon.
Okay. Yeah, I would say if I had to give a number 3, and maybe it's just because it was the very first one, but I would say the better than sex chocolate chip cookie. Yeah, I mean and we had different orders. Mine was lemon, blueberry, chocolate chip, and yours was chocolate chip, blueberry, lemon.
Yeah.
Or peanut butter. Might not even have lemon, but. If I was working at the company and they said, "Hey, Kev, it's your job to decide which one we send out 6 of this and which ones we only put next to the other 11."
Yeah.
Chocolate chip is easily the one that gets its own box and none others do. But I don't think that necessarily makes it the best cookie. It's just the one that deserves its own whole box.
So they always call it number 1. This is the perennials, I guess, or.
Yeah, so what I recall from the little bit of looking at the website and what Derek was telling us about, this is like the standard core 12 products. The small box we got is 6 of just chocolate chip, and then they also have, he was talking about drop ship boxes, so they'll do I think I saw on the website there was like a Halloween selection. But this is now that they have it, all year round assortment. Got any ad reads to do? I don't know how you do this.
No ads.
No ad reads?
No.
Oh, man, you're... All this talk about marketing and packaging, you're
Yeah.
leaving money on the table not doing ad reads? Come on, man.